All right. Hello, YouTubers. Let me get TikTok rolling since we're doing special show today. All right, TikTok. This is fun. Oh, the trolls are going to be pissed today. Poon's going to be pissed today. All right. Oops. All right, I got to change the name of the show today since this is special. Let me see. All right. Hang on. I was trying to put a headline, although I put breaking. I think it is breaking. I could skip that, but if I don't put breaking, I'm not sure if people are going to appreciate that this is a big deal. Summer of Live. We could do that, I guess. No, 1 second here. Let's do this instead. It's a new one. What the hell? What the hell? Summer of Live is new. We'll try it. All right. Yeah, what the heck? It'll get trolls. It'll get trolls. We like trolls sometimes. All right. Oops, turned my camera around. I freaking hate when I do that. Flip the damn camera. There we go. I mean, I turned the camera. I was showing my kitchen. I'm like, don't show my kitchen. Yes, I had to put the darker shirt for everybody. All right. Welcome, guys. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a crazy morning. Holy cow. Holy freaking cow. Hey, Trevor in Vancouver. I'm jealous you're in Vancouver. Yes, major smoking accident, major Ukrainian attack on Russia today. I'll get into the details in a second. I want to give folks a chance to arrive. Huge Ukrainian attack on Russia. I mean, actually, I'm going to try to hold on. I'm going to lift my camera phone a little higher. There we go. This way I can see a little better my computer screen. There we go. This will allow me to pull up my Twitter as well. Good morning, folks. Ukraine is not pushing its luck. Ukraine just blew the hell out of Russia's nuclear bombers. Ukraine, here's the problem. People who say Ukraine's pushing its luck are the same people who claim Ukraine's losing the war. If Ukraine's losing the war, then Ukraine needs to do everything it can to win the war. So what Ukraine did was absolutely brilliant today. Amazing. The Ukrainians, and again, there's footage of this. Oh, there's footage of it. You doubt it? There's footage. They bombed their nuclear bombers. Russia's nuclear bombers. Well, let's start from the beginning. Ukraine took out possibly a majority of Russia's nuclear bombers today. The nuclear bombers have two purposes: to launch nukes against America, and also to bomb the hell out of Ukraine. The Russians were using the nuclear bombers to bomb God, I cannot stand this guy, to bomb the Ukrainians. And the Ukrainians took out the bombers. Yeah. Okay, Felonius, you're leaving now because you're being weird. Of course, Felonius didn't do his research today. Had he done it, he would know that 30 to 40% of Russia's nuclear bombers have been taken out, but it's over 50% potentially of the operational nuclear bombers, because as I'm sure Felonius knows, because he's an expert on military affairs and aviation, especially, you don't necessarily have 100%. You never have 100% of your fleet available to fly. So the thinking is that possibly, well, the latest number was 41, although the numbers are possibly going higher. Thank you, Skywalker, for the gift. Let's start at the beginning. Ukraine may have just taken out 50% of Russia's nuclear bombers. The Ukrainians did a massive operation today. They've been planning it for a year and a half. Listen to this. Okay, well, I'll give you the punchline and then how they did it. The Ukrainians thought, let's take out the planes that Russia's using to bomb Ukraine. Because the Russians will put these planes in the air. They'll put them like over the Caspian Sea. They'll basically put them, 1,000 miles from Ukraine, launch their missiles, and the missiles will go and kill the Ukrainians. And the Ukrainians can't fight back because the planes are deep inside Russia. So the Ukrainians thought, let's go and take out the planes deep inside Russia. We're talking 2,500 miles inside Russia, 4,000 kilometers inside Russia. So the Ukrainians built Well, they built a ton of FPV, first person view drones. They smuggled 150 drones inside Russia. They then smuggled, and I thought this was fascinating. They smuggled, I'm going to see if I can pull up the picture. They smuggled wood to build like a shed, right? And they got access somehow to train beds. So like train cars, right? Like the train car without the actual cargo hold on top of it. So the flatbed of a train. They built these wood boxes on top of the train cars to look like train cargo cars. They filled these, I'm going to show you the picture. They filled the cargo containers with these drones. They set it all up automatically. They returned to Ukraine. They set these things up all over Russia. They attacked 4 or 5. They put them next to 4 or 5 of Russia's bomber bases, air bases. And from Ukraine, mind you, one of these drone attacks was 2,500 miles, 4,000 kilometers inside Russia. Okay. From Ukraine, they remotely opened these wood containers, these cargo containers. Literally, the top slid back, the drones went flying out, and they attacked the Russian bombers. Now, I can show you a little bit of this. Hang on a second. I've got actually this one video was amazing. Here, watch this one. Oop, yeah, there's no sound on this anyway. So what we've got here is the bomber is, thank you, Mario. The bomber or the FPV drone is looking at the bomber from above, right? And the drone operator is looking. Mind you, the Russians weren't prepared for this. So this guy had all the time, or gal had all the time in the world. He's looking at the bomber, but he's trying to get just the right space to hit. The bombers were just refueled, a number of them. So he wants to hit the fuel tank in the wing. Now, the fuel tank in the wing is apparently right here. Notice how he comes in, but he's coming in very slowly. Okay? Look at this. Very slowly to get the right spot. This video is amazing because if he were under real threat, he would come in and just hit the plane anywhere. Look at this now. He's coming right at the right spot, and then they lose the transmission. Right, took out the planes. They launched 116 drones from these cargo containers around Russia. Thank you again, Mario. I appreciate the gifts. Or the gift memberships. Oh, nice. Gift memberships. That was sweet of you. Thank you, Mario. The current estimate is they hit 41 bombers, possibly more. Some are saying the bombers were destroyed. Some are saying they were damaged. The video is horrific of these bombers. Hey, Zohan in Romania. Let me see. I don't have, hang on. I just sent Callum the video, I thought. No, there's a different video. Oh, okay, different video of the planes on fire. Well, here you go. This is a picture. This is a picture of the planes on fire at one of the air bases, okay? Look at these planes lined up. Look at these planes lined up, every single one of them. Now, this looks to be the same airbase that drone picture was of. Look at these. I mean, these planes are not just damaged. The Russians are livid. The Russian military bloggers, all the like private sector Russians who can wait, the military people. Let me see if I can find the actual pictures of the cargo. The Ukrainians snuck 150 drones into Russia. They then snuck wood in to build sheds and cargo containers. They then found train flatbeds, like, you know, the train, but the actual bed you put stuff on, so the cargo goes on top of the bed. They got the train car beds. They built these sheds on top of the train cars to look like cargo on top of a train car sitting in a field, like storage. They put the drones in the train cars, and then from Ukraine, they remotely slid open the top of the shed, flew the drones out, and attacked the Russian air bases. They reportedly hit 41 Russian bombers. These are bombers used to attack Ukraine. These are also bombers used to launch nuclear weapons against America. It is quite possible the Ukrainians just took out half of Russia's nuclear bombers, the operational nuclear bombers. I mean, unheard of what the Ukrainians did. Let me see if I can find, I want to find the picture of the train car for you. If not, I will do a quick, where is this? I think that may even be the train car. Hold on. Oops, get this out of the way. Let me see. I'm going to find you the train car picture. Oh, I had it. You know what? I'm going to go on my Twitter and look for it. So I can find you the train car pictures. I mean, absolutely amazing. I've got a ton of video, but much of it I'm not like. Some of it I was, especially on TikTok. I didn't want to post video because I didn't want to get banned. TikTok doesn't like it when you post videos of military things going up in flames. So I'm careful on TikTok with that. Here's an overflight. Here's an overflight video showing you the planes, just to get a sense. So these are the planes already on fire. I mean, just to get a sense of this, right? Look at this. Thanks, Mario, again. Look at these drones. And I'm sure he's going for the next. He's going for the next plane. So they're going row by row. So these are the planes they already hit. And look at that. Oh, that was one getting hit. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. That was one getting hit. Holy cow. Oh, my God. I hadn't seen that one before. Woo, man. Thank you, Linda, for the gift. Sorry, guys. I'm not thanking you for the gifts because I'm looking at all the information, but I do appreciate the gifts. Keep them coming. And then I'm going to read you a little bit more of the the Russian Ministry of Defense says they successfully repelled an attack on 3 air bases, but a few planes caught fire. Yeah, a few. Just a few. Wow. Ooh, okay. Oh, this is Ukrainian journalist. Okay, this is what Ukrainians are claiming. Let's see. 41 Russian bombers were destroyed at 4 bases. Some of the drones attacked with auto honing. A group of SBU, a group of Ukrainian intelligence agents transported 150 small attack drones and 300 ammunition to Russia. 116 drones took off. They used auto homing, which I believe pretty much means it was AI. Vlad was talking about this a year plus ago, where it's kind of the way, honestly, the way cruise missiles worked decades ago, where they already they know the area, they have a picture. I think I'm simplifying this, but they know what the plane looks like. And as they get close, they're able to see the plane on the ground and adjust. Like it's able to, AI is able to guide it on its own in case the Russians are jamming, things like that. Well, things are going to escalate, but too bad. Things have already escalated. Russia's been bombing the hell out of Ukraine for 3 years. The Ukrainians have agreed to peace talks. So what did the Russians do? They turned around and had launched the biggest attack yet on the Ukrainians last week. Escalating. What does escalation mean? That's the thing. I mean, no, somebody said things are going to escalate. What does that mean? Right? Your country is being attacked 3 years in a row. Country's being destroyed. The Russians don't want peace. The Americans have pretty much threatened to cut you off. And Trump has already said he's going to walk away. If I'm Ukraine, you need to take the Russians out. Let me see here. Just looking what else here. I mean, man, 40 bombers. And again, these are nuclear bombers. These are bombers used to attack Ukraine, but they're also nuclear bombers, which means Russia just lost a significant portion of its nuclear strike force. At least it's air-launched nuclear strike force. I mean, they're going to be freaking out. Again, this is the value of the war in Ukraine. The Ukrainians, if this is all true, and it certainly the video seems to suggest it is, the Ukrainians just took out a significant portion of Russia's nuclear strike capability. We paid some money for it. Do you know how much that's worth? I mean, how much money it's worth to do that? I mean, and we got it with no risk to ourselves. Oh, I think these are the, these appear to be the flatbeds. I think they are. Oh my, okay, that blew up on the guy. We're not going to show you that. These appear to be the flatbeds that the Ukrainians built. So they look like trucks. Yeah, 3-day war. How's the 3-day war going? I think Ukraine probably still is attacking oil depots. I'm sure they are. Oh, I see. Ah, okay. So one of them blew up on the way. This is one of the vehicles the Ukrainians created, but it blew up when they were driving it. It looks like the target was an airbase 6,000 kilometers away. That's like 4,500 miles from Ukraine. They were going all the way to the Russian Far East, but it blew up on the way, so it didn't work. More video. Look at that. Oh my God. What happened to peace? What happened to peace was the Russians refused to sit down and talk peace. So Ukraine went and took out their Air Force. Man, that's right, Spiral. They also helped Finland by taking out the airbase up there. Oh, that's interesting. Vlad, you have Putin. I mean, Putin is livid. And a lot of Russians are about to lose their head. I mean, my God. My God. Oh, hey guys. Oh, my little nephews are here today. Hey guys, I just saw the message from Yaya. How you doing? We're talking about blowing up Russian airplanes. Just be aware. So, oh my. Oh boy, my coffee is good. This is the little Nespresso maker my nephew had me get. Nuke submarine base? I didn't see that. Is that true? Excuse me. Oh boy. I mean, what's next is, look, peace is not on the horizon. The Russians don't want peace. Putin's made that clear. If you're Ukraine, thank you, Heather. This war is continuing. The Russians are going to continue to attack Ukraine to take more land. Ukraine has no choice but to take out as much of Russia's military as they can. Now, potentially, if Russia were a normal country, potentially this attack puts the Ukrainians in a position, puts Russia in a position where the Russians are start to feel pressure. Because this, for example, tells the Russians, actually, Ukraine can do great damage to you. Thank you, Blue. They can do great damage, right? The Ukrainians can, this is very bad for Russia. Russia just lost a significant portion of its nuclear bombers. That's very dangerous. Because if you're Russia, you're afraid of America and Britain and France attacking you with nukes, even though we know we won't. Russia's worried about that. If you're Russia, you are very worried now that you just lost your nuclear bombers, because it makes you more vulnerable to nuclear attack. Again, because the Russians think we would do that. You now have to start calculating and say, is this war with Ukraine worth it? Now, I don't think the Russians will stand down as a result, but the Ukrainians just showed that if Russia doesn't want peace and Russia wants to continue this war, yeah, Ukraine's in a bad position, but there's a lot Ukraine can do. Thank you for the gift there. Is that Ava? Let me find a little bit more here. Krasenstein, dear Lord. Actually, let me pull up. I had copied some more information, although I think I told you most of it. Yep, the FPV drones were smuggled into Russian territory. Mobile wooden sheds were transported in. The drones were hidden under the roofs of these sheds, which were placed on cargo trucks. At the designated time, the roofs opened remotely and the drones launched, targeting military airfields and aircraft. Strikes on 41 Russian strategic aircraft. That's the latest we have. 4 military air bases deep inside Russia. Some people are saying Ukraine destroyed 30% or more of Russia's nuclear-capable strategic bombers. Others are saying that in terms of operational aircraft, this could be over 50% of the operational bombers Russia has. 150 drones were smuggled in. 116 took off, which means some didn't make it or whatever. We know one cargo thing blew up. That could have had those drones on it. The attack on the Tu-95 aircraft base at Olenya Airfield was particularly successful. Drones hit refueled fuel tanks. So the drones hit fuel tanks on the planes that had just been refueled, which is amazing. Yeah, no more news on this. I'm like looking to see what else I can find on TikTok. Well, potentially 50% of the operational bombers. So in other words, we don't know for sure. We believe they hit, Callum's texting me, we believe they hit 30% of the overall bombers, but of the operational bombers, it could even be 50%, meaning all of your aircraft never work at the same time. All your tanks don't work at the same time. There's always a portion of them that's being repaired or whatever. So that's where the 50% is optimistic, but meaning of the planes that are working. Oh, I didn't see what comment you had pinned, Callum. Of the planes that are working, they might have knocked out 50% of the total planes. I saw somebody say a naval air base. I have to Google and see. Latest intel Callum's hearing is that they have 76 operational pre-attack. There you go. So, for example, potentially the Russians had 76 bombers available before the attack, operational bombers that are working. Because again, a number of aircraft aren't working. They break, they need to be repaired, parts, blah, blah, blah. So if they had 76 working bombers and the Ukrainians took out 41, that would be over 50%. That'd be 55, 60% of the Russian operational bombers taken out. Now, again, this is fog of war stuff, meaning we don't know. Trolls, sad trolls, sad. So fog of war, you don't really know. Like later today, we may get more information. Let's see what we're hearing about this nuclear base. Let me see. Our nuclear base, sub base. Let's see. Russia submarine base. Let me see. Explosions reported at Russian nuclear sub base. Oh my. Let's see. Now this is I don't know what this source is. Explosions and rising smoke were reported on Sunday in Severomorsk, Russia, the home of the Northern Fleet and one of the most strategically sensitive military sites in the country, located on the Kola Bay near the Barents Sea. It's the primary base for Russia's nuclear-powered submarine fleet and houses 2/3 of its nuclear-armed platforms. Details remain scarce. We have no more information. Let's see where Severomorsk is. I mean, honestly, Trump is going to be pissed. Ukraine doesn't have a choice. Because what they're doing is telling the Russians, you want to continue the war with us, we're going to take out your nuclear forces. And you're going to be vulnerable to the Americans, the Brits, and the French. And frankly, everybody else. Because, well, actually, what really gets interesting with this, hang on a second here. Interesting. It's up by Finland. Oh, how interesting. Oh, this is very interesting. Okay. Here's the map of Europe. Russia's over here. Here's the map of Europe. Greece, Turkey, Italy, France, Germany. You start to go up Finland, Sweden, Norway. So Norway, Sweden, Finland. This is where the base is. The Ukrainians might have hit the submarine base. This red dot all the way up here, which is right near Finland. Here's the Finnish border right here. Boop. This is the Finnish border. So it's right across from Finland. Interesting. But this is, again, their northern fleet because they access the Arctic, blah, blah, blah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Missiles from Germany, that would be interesting. A little coffee. A little more coffee. Very interesting. One cargo truck was stopped by locals, ripping the props of the drones. Yeah, not surprised. A bridge. I heard about a bridge, but I didn't see confirmation of it. Sorry, what else we got here? Well, no, actually, Jason, not necessarily. Jason said in order to hit the sub base north of by Finland, they would have had to flown over Moscow. No, because what they did in the rest of the country today, hitting all these air bases, they smuggled drones in. They then smuggled cargo containers in. They then got like flatbeds of trains or whatever, or at least it looked like the flatbed of a train. They built a cargo structure on top of the flatbed. So it looked like a train a train car sitting in the countryside waiting to be picked up or something, right? They put the drones in the crates on top of the train car, and then remotely, and they put them next to the air bases. So when the time was right, these drones, they remotely, again, from thousands of miles away in Ukraine, they remotely pulled back the tops of these cargo containers. The drones flew out and they were right next to the air base and attacked the planes. So they could have put these cargo containers next to the sub base as well. So they would not have flown over Moscow at all. Remember, this was something we talked about with them attacking Moscow. And I kept saying that I was like getting strongly suspicious that possibly the Ukrainians were flying these drones from right outside Moscow, because we were saying, how the hell did they get, like, did they fly that far, not get shot down? Because if you were literally or in Moscow and you took off and went a couple blocks away, good luck the Russians taking you out, right? So, yeah, so that would be how you're right, though, if they flew over Moscow. Although then again, they seem to do okay getting into Moscow too. But you're right. So that would be the way that they would get around it. Christopher Miller. Okay, Christopher is Financial Times. Let's see what Christopher's saying. Okay, Christopher, let's get to Christopher, because Christopher's Financial Times, so he's very good. Quick take by Russian commentators on the consequences of today's strike. Reinforcement of air defense will be necessary, not only from fixed-wing Ukrainian drones, but also from first-person view drones, especially since there has already been an experience of such an attack somewhere else where A-50 was damaged. Obviously, the security at the airfield was not prepared for this type of attack. This is Russians, strengthening counterintelligence and counter-terrorist measures, the enemy was able to prepare and carry out a complex operation on our territory. This is a clear failure of the special services that allowed this to happen. The drone revolution is not over. It should be taken into account that the options for using kamikaze attack drones will only become more numerous in the future. The possibility of using drones from hidden containers is not new. All this has been known since mid-2010s. That is for those who have been following this direction of development. Of course, the negligence by Russian services is too expensive. It will not bring back the lost airplanes, but someone will be punished. Hopefully, the military and political leadership will find a way to respond with dignity. The response should be painful. They're pissed. They're pissed. So Russian military bloggers believe this is real. That's very interesting because they certainly have their own sources inside the country, right? Very, very interesting. More from Christopher Miller. Oh, this is brilliant. Christopher Miller tweets, again, Financial Times reporter, tweets, Ukraine expert, says, Ukraine today showed it does in fact still have some cards. Remember Trump told Zelensky, you don't have any cards left. There's nothing else you can do. By the way, that's part of it too. Trump had told Zelensky that Ukraine has no cards. There's nothing Ukraine can do. There's no pressure Ukraine can put on Russia. So Ukraine needs to cave and give up everything. And the Ukrainians just said, well, actually, there's a lot we can do. We've been holding back. It would be unusual for Ukraine to have notified the White House of this operation, especially since it did not involve the use of any American or even Western long-range weapons. From what I know currently, this is Christopher Miller, Financial Times. From what I know currently, it was planned and executed solely by Kyiv with domestic arms. Moreover, there are doubts in Kyiv that the Trump administration would have kept it under wraps and concerns that the White House would have waved it off, even as Russian forces have conducted the biggest combined drone and military attacks of the war in the past 2 weeks. Let me see here. Wow. Attack was planned for a year and a half in advance. We know that. Let's see what the Financial Times is saying. Let me, hang on. Where is this? Where is this crazy thing? I gotta hate Twitter. Come on, Twitter. Copy link. Okay, hold on here. One second here. There we go. Copy. All right, let's see if Financial Times, although Financial Times may be summarizing everything else, but let's see if we know anything else here. Well, knowing where the bases are isn't so difficult. Somebody was asking, how do the Ukrainians know where the bases are? Everybody knows where Russian air bases are. Now, interesting question as to, and this is sort of a Callum question too, how many planes are at each airbase on any one day, right? At any 1 hour, unless the Russians have these planes always on these air bases, always on the airfields, because they're there, preparing to take off in case of nuclear war or whatever. So the existence of the air bases is not a secret. The fact that they house their planes there isn't a secret. And perhaps it's not a secret that these planes are sitting on the field all day long, because typically, like, we're not going to blow up the planes. The Brits aren't going to blow up the planes, so they're not in any danger. Some of these air bases were 4,000 kilometers away, 2,500 miles away. They shouldn't have been in any danger. Let's see what Financial Times says. Christopher Miller. Ukraine's forces launched a massive drone attack on 4 airfields deep inside Russia that were home to strategic bombers used in air raids, officials said on Monday, possibly their most audacious attack of the war. At this point, more than 40 aircraft have reportedly been hit, an official told the Financial Times, adding that drones struck 4 Russian military air bases in one coordinated operation, thousands of kilometers or miles away from the front line. Aircraft were burning at the Belaya airfield, located in southeastern Siberia, about 5,500 kilometers east of the Ukrainian border. That would be 3,000 miles, maybe. At the Olenya Air Base on the Kola Peninsula near Murmansk, Diago Air Base, 200 kilometers southeast of Moscow, Ivanovo Airfield. Video footage filmed by Ukrainian reconnaissance aircraft and shared by the official appeared to show one Russian airfield in flames and drones attacking several planes. The massive coordinated attack came as Zelensky's going to negotiate in Turkey. Was planned for more than a year. It used dozens of small first-person view drones armed with explosives. The Ukrainian intelligence smuggled the drones into Russia, followed later by small wooden mobile cabins. The drones were concealed under the roofs of the structures, which had been loaded onto lorries or trucks. On Sunday, the roofs were remotely opened and the drones launched towards Russian military airfields. A former Ukrainian officer who runs analytical group Front Intelligence Insight said that while the damage would probably not directly influence Russia's position, it was significant. It does reduce Russia's strategic capabilities, which means the ability to project power globally. That's true. The ability to deliver nuclear strikes and overall military posture in Eurasia. When the Russian general staff plans wars, they don't look at just one theater. That's exactly the point. What Ukraine did, which is brilliant, and the Americans will not like this, what Ukraine did was they realized there isn't a lot we can do to affect Russia's ability to bomb Ukraine so much. I mean, they can go after planes that bomb Ukraine, but Russia's got so many drones. They got so many missiles from the North Koreans, the Iranians, right? But what the Ukrainians can do is they can hurt Russia's military posture and military capabilities overall. Specifically, and this is where it gets interesting and scary, but interesting, the Ukrainians can significantly degrade Russia's ability to launch a nuclear attack. Now, I don't think Russia's not going to bomb Ukraine with nukes because that's going to start a war with NATO, and they're going to lose that war. But the Russians think that we will nuke them, right? The Russian government and they think, oh, NATO's ready to attack. We're not ready to attack. They think, oh, we might launch nukes. You never know. We wouldn't, but they think this about us. If you're Russia, you want to always have your nuclear, and frankly, America and France and Britain too. You want to have your nuclear forces always ready just in case. The Ukrainians just took out a significant number of the airplanes the Russians used to launch their nuclear weapons from the air. It's called the triad. America has it too. We launch nukes from the air, from airplanes, from the ground, silos in the ground, from the sea, from submarines. Well, the Ukrainians just took out possibly more than half of the current operational Russian nuclear bombers. Operational, right? They have more planes, but they're not working. But possibly more than half of the bombers. We had heard the Russians have possibly 76 or 79 operational bombers. The Ukrainians took out more than 41, we believe. There's video. I mean, everyone's seen the video. Multiple Russian planes on fire. The Russians are livid, by the way. The Russian military bloggers confirmed it on their end. They're pissed. We don't know about the military base. I'm sorry, the sub base. We're still trying to get confirmed. Let me just see here really quick. Well, Murmansk, yeah, the Olenia Air Base, although Murmansk, somebody was, John, I think, was asking about Murmansk. For Murmansk, John, they're saying it was the Olenia Air Base in Murmansk. So that is not necessarily the naval base. Some people were talking about whether nuclear submarines were targeted too. It's an air base that they hit in Murmansk, according to the Financial Times. So I did say Murmansk. Oh, you're saying the spelling, Murmansk. In any case, yeah. Let me see any more here. Let me see here. But yeah, so that is what is interesting about this is the Ukrainians, and it's really smart. The Ukrainians may not have the ability to stop Russia from bombing Ukraine. The Ukrainians do have the ability to significantly degrade Russia's ability to defend itself against America and China even, and Europe. And they just did. They just took out Russia's ability to launch its nuclear weapons. They didn't take it out. I mean, they still got the ability. But this is amazing. This is what Ukraine, and again, Trump will be livid because Trump doesn't care about Ukraine, but B, Trump doesn't want Ukraine fighting back. Keep in mind, in the last 2 weeks, Russia has launched its largest attacks ever on Ukraine in the 3 years of the war. Russia responded to Trump's peace initiatives by launching its biggest attacks ever on Ukraine. That's why the Ukrainians finally fought back. Trump won't like it. Honestly, I think Trump's going to abandon Ukraine anyway. At this point, what Trump wants is for Ukraine to give up all its territory to the Russians permanently. He's crazy. Trump doesn't care. So I would say if I were the Ukrainians, this is what they should have been doing earlier. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The babushka dolls. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really amazing. Whew. Let me see what I'm going to look for more of the latest news here, but this is wild. And what I'm thinking is I'll come on later today. I've got another reunion thing this afternoon at Georgetown, but when I get back later today, I'm back after 4. I'll come live again with the latest news because we in principle will have more information. Also, we're going to the spy satellites, British spy satellites, American. Now, what we'll learn from the Americans is questionable. The Brits, at least, will hopefully let us know some information. Hey, Carol, will let us know some information about what their spy satellites. It's still daytime, which is good. So our spy satellites and the European spy satellites have all day long to surveil the airfields and see. Yeah. Now, Yosh or Shashank, just who's the Economist defense editor, says no surprise that Ukraine did not notify the Trump administration in advance. There is no way on earth that this or any other administration would sanction, encourage, or enable a large-scale attack on Russian nuclear delivery systems. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Trump wouldn't, but Biden wouldn't either. The Ukrainians did a small hit like this before. Actually, didn't they hit a nuclear radar? Yep, an early warning radar. The Ukrainians hit last year, and the Biden people freaked out. Now, I will say, since again, my show is the show of honesty, right? We tell the truth. I'm not going to spin you guys. There is a valid argument to be worried about Ukraine's attack. I still think it's necessary. But there's a very valid counter argument to say this is dangerous because the theory is that we all keep each other. Hi, Kira. Happy birthday, cousin Emmy. I'm not going to sing right now, but happy birthday, Emmy. Hope you have a good birthday today. The theory is that the reason we don't have nuclear war is we're all able to threaten each other. Russia knows we can blow them up. We know Russia can blow us up, so we don't hit each other. It's called mutually assured destruction. Mad theory, exactly what Kitchen just said. We are mutually assured. We mutually are aware that we can hit each other. And what it means specifically is if the Russians attack us with nuclear weapons, some of our nuclear weapons will survive. Enough of our nuclear weapons will survive that we can hit Russia back and destroy them. So it's not worth it for Russia. Even if Russia were to knock out every nuclear weapon in America, right? Our submarines would destroy Russia. That's it. It would destroy Russia. The same thing, though, if we were to hit all the nuclear weapons in Russia, let's say we just took out every nuclear weapon in Russia, their submarines would then come after us. So, and they would blow us up because their submarines have nukes as well, as do our submarines, as do the British and the French nuclear submarines. So the theory is, and it's a correct theory, that one of the main things that stops us from being from nuclear annihilation is we know the Russians can retaliate with nukes. They know we can retaliate with nukes, so nobody fires nukes. Gets a little more dangerous when either you start to take out the Russian airplanes that are used to retaliate, right? These airplanes are used to attack Ukraine, but they're also used to go in the air and then launch nuclear missiles against America or Brits or France or whoever. If you start taking out those airplanes, which Ukraine appears to have done, if you take out a significant number of those airplanes, which Ukraine appears to have done, you've now degraded Russia's ability to respond to an American nuclear strike. It is now going to be harder for Russia to hit us back if we hit them first. Well, if you're Russia, this gets scary, right? Because now if you're Russia, you say, well, okay, if the Americans attack us, I'm less confident that we can hit the Americans back equally. We'll still have nukes to hit them, but will we have enough nukes? Now, Russia will have enough nukes, but nonetheless, Russia will have fewer nukes to hit, or fewer ability to hit America back if America hits Russia today with nukes because of what Ukraine did. Arguably, that could make the Russians want to launch their own nuclear war, is the argument. Because the argument would be, oh, our Palestinian friends are coming to interrupt the show. What a surprise. Nice people that you are. Arguably, if Russia's afraid that it can't respond sufficiently to an American nuclear strike, maybe they'd launch one first, is the argument. That they would worry, a crazy American president would look and say, Russia now doesn't have the ability to respond as well as it did before because Ukraine took out its nuclear bombers. Maybe America has the chance to attack Russia now and we can get away with it. So the Russians, under one scenario, would say, we can't respond as well anymore to a nuclear attack. Maybe we should launch our own nuclear attack first, just before the Americans attack us. So that's the fear. Now, ironically, from the Trump administration, if Trump says this, the other possibility that could cause a nuclear attack is what Trump is doing, building his Golden Dome. Trump wants to build a system to defend America against any incoming missiles. Well, that's what Reagan tried. It didn't work, but that was 40 years ago. It might work today. Who knows? But the concern is, and I'm 50-50 on this, but the concern is, if we build a system that can blow up Russian nukes as they're entering American airspace, then we don't need to worry about a Russian nuclear attack on America because we can blow up all their missiles. If we can blow up all the Russian missiles or North Korean missiles attacking America, then we don't need to worry about a Russian nuclear attack on America, would be the argument with Trump's new Golden Dome if he builds it, right? And if it works, defending America. But again, if you're Russia and you know America is 1 month away from launching its system that will stop your ability to launch any nuclear weapon into America, you might start to worry and say, maybe the Americans would come after us. Maybe the Americans would attack us with nukes because they now know with their new Golden Dome system that Donald Trump is building, we would not be able to fire our nukes at America because they'd get shot down in the air. Maybe as Russians, the Americans might come after us first. Maybe if the Americans had the ability to stop every nuclear weapon being shot at it, maybe the Americans would use their nukes against Russia, knowing that the Russians couldn't retaliate, right? Oh, the dog wants water. 1 second here. Hello, doggy. All right. So and it's a valid argument, what Trump is doing with Golden Dome could itself cause a nuclear war because Russia would say, well, if next month Trump launches his Golden Dome and I'm going to lose the ability to respond to an American nuclear attack because America can shoot down all of Russia's nuclear missiles, that could cause America to actually attack Russia. Russia would worry because the Americans now know a nuclear response is not going to work. So maybe the Russians would use their nukes first. Now, I'm 50-50 It's a good argument. Well, you may think it's not a valid argument, but it's a good argument. It may not be correct. Who knows how the Russians will respond? But that's the concern. And that would be the same concern of Ukraine taking out the Russian bombers, that it makes it harder for Russia to fight a nuclear war. And if Russia has less of an ability to fight a nuclear war, might it ironically make Russia launch a nuclear war? Right? I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. Anyway. Jason. I love Jason. You have no strategic knowledge. Yeah. That 40 years experience in foreign policy and the graduate degree, master's in foreign service from Georgetown, those languages, working at the UN, working as an arms control aide in the US Senate for 5 years with a code word clearance. Like, none of that prepared me for any ability to discuss today's show. You're right. Thanks, Jason. Okie dokie. Was he the troll on YouTube people were talking about? Oh, no, there was no troll on YouTube. Oh, there was a troll on YouTube. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, apparently he was, they said. He was the troll that was on. I didn't see that there was a troll on YouTube. Oh, my. Well, the trolls are going to come out. Well, it's funny. Initially, we didn't get as many people showing up, and now we're getting more and more. The trolls are finding out, and they're getting pissed. I'm not going to go too long right now because we've got I've got to go to as I just said, Georgetown School of Foreign Service. I've got a reunion picnic in an hour. But then after that, the bridges. Okay. AP is saying the bridges collapsed. Okay. Interesting. Because I was hearing about bridges potentially, but I didn't see if it was confirmed. Let's see here. Sasha. Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. Let me just see here. Any news? This is funny. Russia, in one clip filmed in Voskresensk, Moscow region, a Russian serviceman. So this is the image, but I think from a video clip. Okay. The Russian serviceman is heard in the video clip saying, "It's fucked here," as several bombers burn in the background. Oh my. See, that's intelligence telling you something significant happened. It doesn't mean the Ukrainians are correct that 41 bombers were destroyed. We don't know. It means a significant attack did happen. Some significant damage happened because the Russians are saying, a Russian airman is saying, we're fucked on this airbase. That's Jamie, what happened? Good point, Jamie, actually, because I always tell people, like, these shows are a lot like radio. You'll notice on radio that people will, like, every 5 minutes they go, "You're listening to WABC, the so-and-so show," right? Because people come and go on these kind of shows. So I should set this up again so people know who are joining us late. The Ukrainians overnight hit 4 or 5 Russian air bases. They possibly hit a Russian submarine base. They possibly took out some bridges. They at least preliminarily are claiming that the Ukrainians took out 41 Russian strategic bombers, a huge number of Russia's bombers. They hit anywhere between 4 and 6 air bases. Some of the air bases were thousands of miles, like 3,000 miles inside Russia, 5,000 kilometers. I mean, crazy what they did. These bombers are used to attack Ukraine. They are also bombers used to deliver Russia's nuclear weapons in a nuclear attack. So from a Russian perspective, this is incredibly, you going out there again? From a Russian perspective, this is incredibly damaging what Ukraine did. This may not it'll impact Russia's ability to attack Ukraine to a degree. It will really impact Russia's ability to launch a nuclear war against America. That's going to freak the Russians out. What Ukraine did was they showed the Russians, you think, as Trump said, you think we don't hold any cards? We have the ability to seriously cripple your military. Yeah, you can still attack Ukraine, but good luck defending yourself against the rest of the world. Now, really what Ukraine did, which is fascinating from what we know, the Ukrainians smuggled 300 drones inside Russia, 300 first-person drones. They smuggled wood in to build sheds, cargo containers. They then drove trucks around the country with these cargo containers, and they looked like the kind of cargo container that's on the back of a train, right? On a train platform. They drove these around the country. They positioned them near military bases, air bases. Come on in. Come on, miss. Come on. My dog wants to come in, but she's got a screen door and doesn't always think she knows how to use it. They positioned them near the Russian air bases, and they basically looked like railroad container cars. They just looked like, so a little railroad, a railroad car sitting near the base waiting to be picked up. They then went back to Ukraine. Mind you, they put these things at between 4 and 6 different air bases around Russia. They went back to Ukraine. They remote controlled these box cars, what looked like train cars near the air bases, remotely controlled them from Ukraine. Some of these were 3,000 miles, 5,000 kilometers away. The roof, this is like the Trojan horse. The roof slowly opens on this boxcar from Ukraine. The drones come flying out and they attack the Russian air bases that are right next door. And there's video. They blew up a lot of Russian bombers. We've got video. The Russians themselves have admitted, the Russian airmen have admitted it. We don't know how many. The Ukrainians say 41 bombers. If 41 Russian bombers were taken out, that would be over 50% of the operational bombers Russia has. Meaning, Russia has a lot of bombers, but a lot of them don't work. A lot of them are in repair. Of the ones not in repair, we're hearing there might be 75, 76 bombers that are operational right now, Ukraine may have taken out 41 of them. That's over 50%. Again, these are the bombers used to attack Ukraine. They're also the bombers used to deliver Russia's nuclear weapons. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't know how the hell they got them across the border. I mean, who knows? They did. They could have bombed Russian border guards. They were planning this for a year and a half. The dog wants more water. One moment. All right, more water. You are terrible. You are very good, little girl. Very good. All right. They were planning it for a year and a half. I mean, this was a tremendous attack. And as I said, really, I'm going to go in a minute, I think, because I'm going to come back. I've got to go to a reunion thing shortly at Georgetown, and then I'll be back later this afternoon. And we'll know more information anyway. Probably not going to, at this point, I'm on East Coast. I'm in Washington, D.C., so it won't be until probably 5 o'clock maybe that I'll come back on. Let's see. But we'll have we should have a lot more information by then, because what's going on right now, for example, is US and British and other spy satellites are flying over and really assessing the damage. They can look and tell how many planes have been hit. But this is really interesting. This is for everyone. I will probably do everyone later today. Probably I'll open this to everyone just because this is a big deal. So it's a chance for people to get to know me, by the way. For anybody who's new on TikTok, this is what I do for a living. I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm a longtime political guy, journalist, lawyer, went to Georgetown Law, also went to Georgetown School of Foreign Service Masters, where I'm going right now for my reunion. My background is U.S. foreign policy, worked in the United Nations, worked on U.S. Senate as an arms control aide, lots of different work. So for a while now on TikTok and YouTube, I've been doing, and Discord, I've been doing this show to basically help people better understand U.S. politics. But we've also specifically been following the war in Ukraine. So that brings this together as far as why we're talking about this today. So I don't know everything. I know a lot. Thank you, Wimpula. But my background is more foreign policy than military. So I am much more an expert on foreign policy than the actual planes and bombs. But nonetheless, a lot of what we discuss is the policy. For example, talking about, as I said, why this is significant, what Ukraine hit, what the implications are for Russia overall around the world. And I'll sort of conclude, I'll go in a second, I think, but I'm going to conclude with this. It is, Ukraine did something very interesting today by basically saying, okay, look, Trump says we don't have any cards, right? Thank you for the gifts, guys. Trump says we don't have any cards. We do have the ability, the Ukrainians, to significantly degrade Russia's ability to fight a nuclear war. I mean, let's face it, Russia got away with murder in Ukraine because they've got nukes. Biden was afraid to give, and the Trump and the French and the Germans, afraid to give Ukraine all the aid they needed because of Russia's nuclear weapons. Oh my God, there might be a nuclear war, right? If you can take out Russia's nuclear ability, you've taken out Russia's big threat. Now, good luck taking out all of Russia's nuclear ability. That's not going to happen. But the Ukrainians were able to significantly degrade Russia's ability to launch a nuclear strike. That is very bad for Russia. In other words, now Russia, in calculating whether the war in Ukraine is worth it, is not just thinking, can we win against Ukraine? How much damage? How many men will we lose attacking Ukraine? Now Russia has to think, how will this war affect our ability to defend Mother Russia against the Chinese, which is still a threat, frankly, against the Americans, against the French, right? Against our other neighbors, against NATO overall. Russia now has to think, holy cow. I mean, this is amazing. And actually, Senior Biz Mentor makes a good point. Oil fields next. I mean, interesting concept, right? If they're able to do this to sort of synchronously attack the planes, could they do the same thing against Moscow? Could they do the same thing against the oil fields? I don't know. Thank you, Jessica. But the Russians now have to worry. Pipelines, yeah. The Russians now have to worry about that. And they weren't worried about it before. This just made the war a lot more costly, not just in terms of what happened today, but in terms of Russia defending itself against NATO and other conflicts. This was, again, Trump is going to hate it. Trump is going to be pissed. He's going to say nasty things about Ukraine. Too bad. Too bad. I don't think Putin will be overthrown, but I will say this makes Putin look very bad. And it makes a lot of people in the Russian military, because as somebody just said, how the hell do the Ukrainians get these drones across the border? I'm guessing they paid off the Russians, probably. I mean, man, man, oh man. It's amazing. Reportedly, but we're still waiting there for satellite imagery. Reportedly, the Ukrainians took out 41 Russian strategic bomber planes. These bombers are used to attack Ukraine, but they're also used to launch nuclear weapons against America. These are Russia's nuclear bombers, but they're also used for conventional weapons to attack Ukraine. So taking out 41 would be over half of Russia's operational nuclear bombers were taken out by Ukraine today, potentially. That's huge. Oh, they're very deep inside Russia. One attack took place reportedly 5,500 kilometers inside Russia, which would be like over 3,000 miles inside Russia. So reportedly, and the Ukrainians have attacked. They have attacked that deeply in Russia before. They have, but they reportedly hit across Russia like 4 to 6. We don't know about ships. There was a report of a possible attack on a submarine base in the north near Finland. We don't know. What I mean is that's a report, but we don't know yet. Let's see. Today is still fog of war. It's an expression meaning you don't really know immediately after an attack where things stand. As I said, the U.S., Britain, et cetera, need to look at the satellites, all our intelligence satellites, to look at the airfields. They can literally count how many planes are destroyed or burning or whatever. But we know there's video footage confirming some of the attacks, significant. Planes on, I'll show you last little thing. Planes on fire across Russia or across an airfield, which is significant. Let me, hold on. I'll pull this up again really quick. And then, I didn't download it, did I? I pulled up the video on TikTok. Hang on. That's funny. I pulled up the video on TikTok, but I didn't download it. I thought I did. Hang on. Do one last look here. Ukraine. Oh, this is the video. Yeah, this is a good video. Here. Just a quick look at one of the airfields. And the drone is flying over planes on fire. And now this is a little less, this is still pretty good. This is a little less impressive. Oh, look at that one. And that one just blew up as the drone was flying over. There's another video that shows, and there's video of the airfields. I mean, these are videos of the Russian airfields taken by Russians. So you can see multiple bombers burning on the airfields. I mean, right? The Russians putting out their own intelligence. Ah, shit. Hold on. Trying to verify. There we go. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good proof right here that something significant happened, right? Made. Now, I will say the Russians shouldn't be showing that. Local Russians should not be taking videos and going, look what happened, because Ukraine and all of Western intelligence is going, thank you. Right? The here we go. Oh, this is the video I was looking for. Oh my God, this is a perfect way to end. This is the train car, so to speak, although it's not really a train car. It's on a truck bed, lorry bed. Here we go. This is the Ukrainians built this car, this cargo on top of like a truck bed. So they drove these trucks around. They then left the trucks. This is a cargo container that they smuggled wood into Russia. They built the cargo container. They hid the drones inside. Check out this video of the drones flying out. They then, from Ukraine, remotely retracted the hood, and the drones went flying out. They're next to the airbase. Check this out. You'll see the drone flying out. Hold on. I'm going to up the image. Here we go. There's the drone coming out. And then heading towards the airbase. Someone was near the... I thought I heard the word F-U-C-K in Russia. Somebody's trying to shoot it down. Here, we'll go back to the beginning again. So just look really quick. The drone, there it is, the drone coming out. Yeah. Oh, that's really good. I'm going to save this video because it's also a very useful video to have. There we go. There we go. I'm going to save this. Actually, I'll send it to Callum because Callum wanted these. These are Russians recording stuff. I think like some Russian was there next door and went, holy cow, what's going on? Supposedly the Ukrainians smuggled 300 drones in. No, I'm sorry, 150 drones. They reportedly smuggled in. 116 took off. There is video of, and they drove them around on trucks, that one of the trucks caught on fire. Because they had 150 drones and 300 pieces of ammunition, so bombs or whatever to put on the drones. Some of the bombs caught on fire in one of the trucks, so it took out the truck. So they lost some of the drones and some of the bombs. This is James Bond. This is also Israel shit. I always talk about the Ukrainians being like the Israelis. The Ukrainians are vicious mofos. I mean, they're very good at getting even. Very good at getting even. This is just tremendous what they did. I'm doing a last little look here. I always love these. I always love these memes. These memes always crack me up. The guy with his girlfriend and he's waking her up because there's news on Twitter. And it's an ongoing meme on Twitter of like, honey, wake up, babe, wake up, wake up. And this one's, babe, wake up. Russian strategic bombing force is burning. It's just, like I said, it's a funny meme. Yeah, General Hertling, who we love. General Hertling, who's a former American commander in Europe. Very, very good guy. Our U.S. Army, I believe. General Hertling, U.S. General. For months, some believe that Ukraine didn't hold any cards. Many of us have refuted that claim, saying an inflection point due to failing Russian war economy and continued lack of Russian leadership adaptation, but especially due to a continued strong Ukrainian government, military, and population support, would soon be felt on the battlefield. The coordinated and synchronized attack today, which appears to have decimated much of the Russian air fleet that were based over 4,000 kilometers, 2,500 miles from the front line, is showing that Ukraine certainly has many aces in the hole. The U.S. should immediately fast track. Yeah. So, wow. Really cool. I hate to sort of cut this off, guys, but I got to get ready. I'm going to leave for a reunion at Georgetown shortly. But I'm going to come on later today. We'll know more information as the day goes on because of satellites and everything else and intelligence and all of that. This is crazy. This is amazing. No, Ukraine just blew the crap out of the Russians. My God. I mean, amazing what the Ukrainians did. We'll talk about it today. But yeah, I'll come back. We'll talk strategically about what's going on. But this is a damn good day for Ukraine. Trump's going to be pissed. Too bad. But yeah, kind of amazing. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks for the gifts. Oh, last minute gifts. Thank you, CC. Love that one. That's so Harry Potter. I love that. Yep. Thank you, mods. I assume we'll have more trolls later. I'm guessing my reunion's 2 to 4. I'll probably stay till 4. Well, 4-ish. Who knows? I'm guessing I'll come back on, I don't know, 4:30 or 5 maybe. I got to take the dog out too. Let's see. Maybe I'll take the dog out and then come back 5 o'clock, 5:30. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate the gift. But it'll be later today. But I'm in Eastern time, US, Washington, D.C., New York City time. So it could be 5 o'clock. It could be a little later. I'll text you, Ash. Okay. Yeah, it's hard for me to say right now because, like I said, I still may want to take the dog out for a walk when I get back because right now I'll take her out for a little. There almost isn't enough time now for the walk right now. Not for a long walk because I've got to leave probably at 1:30. So, all right, very fun. Yeah, well, this could be a lively discussion at the picnic. We'll see. All right. Who is this? Discord. That was right. Discord. Okay, bye Discord. Hanging up. All right. Hang on, guys. YouTube. Okay, good. Well, some of you were on YouTube today. I'm glad to see a number of you were here. Okay, bye YouTubers. I'm going to sign off. All right, TikTok.